locally produced foods. Our community can have a thriving local economy. So our community is knowledgeable about choices that impact the economy, personal wellness, and the environment. And that's what we're all about. It's from our board to our GM to the great people who are there with you day after day after day through these trying times. I have to start out. I cannot thank the staff and the GM enough for all that they have done through all this stressful time and just the safety and security of our people, of our staff. It is just amazing. Not every day has been great and smooth, but it has been a learning experience for everyone. And we have had great staff that have stepped up time after time to make sure that everyone is cared for in the best way we can and with the most respect to the people around us. Our co-op is the basis of, I always think of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, because we provide the food and the drink that nourishes the bodies of the people that come into our co-op. That second step is the safety needs. We provide them the safety, and we've really had to step up this year and come up on the fly. Our GM has pivoted and made some great guidelines and rules for our co-op and switched on a dime every time they needed to, and the staff jumped in behind her to make sure that the people that we care for, who are our members, are the safest that they could be during a time that was so unsettling. We make sure that our members have the social connections that they need. As our members, you are our extended family. Our members are special people who believe in the same statements that I read before, our mission statements, our commitments, and our ends, to make sure that our community thrives. We help our member owners with their STEAM needs and with the recognition that as they come in and we recognize their faces, we remember the things that they like, we help them with the things that they need. We're there to support them mentally also. And then our active owners, which come in and give us suggestions and feedback and challenge us, that only makes us better and it makes us complete. So we are here to make sure that all of those things, as a board, we are here to make sure those things continue and get better and better every year. So we thank you, the members, we thank you, the staff, and we definitely thank that GM. Now, I don't quite have a few more minutes of that. And where did you want to put in the drawing? Did you want to put it in between my talk pieces or after the talk pieces? Yes, Sandra, the staff did an excellent job of meeting customer needs. Thank you so much for saying that.
Hey, Laura, whenever you want. I was thinking when you were done talking, but.
Okay, I can do the next piece too. Because I can just go right into what our board report. Since it's been kind of an odd year and our other annual meeting was last year late, I'm going to kind of go over everything since I've been board president, because it feels like a whole year then. In the last year, we had a great retreat. We all sat down and had some great discussions of the trials that we're going through, what things were important, and how we needed to move forward. And I think that's how people have been in their lives too, is what things are important, when things aren't. Oh yeah, don't forget we need to approve those minutes. Maybe I'll stop right now and we can approve those minutes. Did everyone get a chance to look at the minutes? Okay, I see nodding. Do I have a motion? Are there any changes or corrections anybody sees? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the minutes from October 13th, 2020?
So moved.
John has the motion.
Laura, there's a chat suggesting that there's some typos.
Uh-huh, okay. What typos do you see? I can't see the full name here. Page 2 has a name typo, Colleen Douglas. Page 3, oh, correction in pandemic, thank you. When I scanned over that, I just read it the right way. Anything else? Okay. Does that look like that's it? Okay, thank you very much. I can't see your first name on here. Ah, that's because it's a family. Thank you very much. So we have some correction. Is it Crystal?
Christelle.
Crystal?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Christelle, thanks.
There you are. I'm always good at mulling a name, so sorry.
No worries.
Thank you very much for being attentive to those typos. Could we possibly have a friendly amendment with the motion to address these changes in the minutes? John, would you? John or?
I'll make that motion that the corrections as described are made into the permanent minutes.
Okay, do I have a second? We have a motion on the table.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Carly. We have a motion and a second to make those changes in the
Are you
minutes.
taking notes or are you just gonna do it from the recording?
Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, ayes are waving. Thank you. Those are approved and then.
Aye.
Thank you. So that was for the name changes and we had the other motion on the table to approve the minutes. Mick, did yours motion have the approval in there too? I can't hear you. Okay.
Sorry, I will approve the amended minutes.
Yeah. So, okay. Sounds like we have those approved now. All right, I will move on with the next piece, that annual. Anyways, out of our retreat, we came out with some themes. Local agriculture, co-op finance, and activism. Seems like it could be very relative to any business or any family during this time that we've been through. We've taken some big steps there we go. Lots of notes here and hand scratching. So we did create a fund to support our local makers, creators, and bakers that need a space for making their products. That is underway. We've been trying to recruit any educators, teachers, or passionate hobbyists that want to teach their passion and pass on their knowledge and skills in planting, growing, care, harvesting, storing of gardening, or people who do crafts or making classes like soaps or oils or jewelry, or even people who do cooking and baking. We want to have classes, and our members are the biggest source of people that we have that have the same passion as we do to pass on those kind of knowledges. So I encourage you to contact either Sarah or Kirsten and let her know if you'd be willing to do a class. We also looked at activism, taking a look at our processes and practices, making sure our co-op is inclusive to promote equality and treatment and in pay. Those were some of the big steps that came out. In our board action last year, we took action on the GM evaluation committee created a review process that's a 360 process. It was a little bit different than what we've done before. And that is thanks to Gary and Carly. They did a lot of work on that with timelines and pieces and questions and making sure that all of that came out correctly. So
And Mick.
and Mick.
Mick helped.
Oh, and Mick. See, I'm gonna miss some of you guys, so pipe right up. But that was a big thing. I liked the way it flowed. It was great to have the input from the staff, and I think it makes us a better board with the knowledge, and it makes us a better co-op for just having all the view on it. We had our bylaws review committee, which was an ad hoc that went through and made sure that all of our bylaws were current, correct, up to date, and made sense. Because as we go along and jump on Zoom meetings for annual meetings, sometimes things don't make sense anymore, and sometimes you have to add and subtract, and at this time, they do. And then our annual committee meeting did all of the heavy lifting for this. And it may not seem a lot, but trying to find a good timeline and people to speak and what is the correct way of proceeding through it and making sure that our members get the best information in a time where you can pay attention, because when it runs long, I lose you all. But so those were the big things in the committees that we've done in the last year. It may not seem a lot, but there's always our regular financials. Mick made up a great dashboard that helped us have key indicators to make sure that we could see A, B, C, and D were all good numbers and easier to look at than looking at all of the numbers from the books. Because while I've been on a while and I've been on a few boards, I know where to look for certain things. Sometimes having a great dashboard like that makes it a lot easier. It's simpler to digest and speedier to go through during a meeting. So thank you for that, Mick, and for Kirsten for working with him. We've also done a lot of trainings to make sure that we'd stay sharp at our duties. We've had a number of board members take different classes, and I'm probably missing some here. But of course, we did supporting your GM during a pandemic because it was all new. There was also, we did strategic processes for top leadership teams, a 4-part series with different ones of us jumping on for financial training for directors. We also did the Abolitionist Challenge, which was taking on and viewing diversity and equity and some of the ingrained just beliefs that some of us have and we don't even realize. We also had a directors roundtable on being board presidents. I attended that one with some great processes. And there was, why do female co-op GMs make so much less than men? Tracking the gender equity in grocery co-ops. Fits in with our activism piece and it's a great eye-opener for the things that we do from day to day, because sometimes and as a female board president, sometimes things like that still slip past my eyes when I'm used to looking for things like that. And the disparity is a lot of times very shameful, is all I can say. So we've been working hard. There's a lot of reading we've had to do and a lot of different groups. We took our activism, our co-op finance, and our local agriculture groups, and we split us down into 2 or 3 apiece and just kept brainstorming. we'll keep going on some of that until we get to our retreat in September. And we will revisit those and see what other things we want to do. I have a few topics I'd like to make better or improve, because I always like to see if I can make things a little bit better than when I came in. And well, of course, board willing, some more strengthening of our policy governance. I'd like to build a stronger onboarding and support for our board team. So that way it's smooth. People don't feel just dumped into our board group, and we do have a good process, but I'd like to make it richer, maybe with some mentorship or a buddy program if you'd like. And then also, I know the board has already talked about this, making sure we have a nice long-term plan for the co-op and its health. These things will keep us on the top of everything and keep us moving stronger and keep us making sure that all of those, the mission statement, the commitments that we've made, and our end statement are the driving force of everything we do, and the best place for you guys to have support and food. So I thank you very much. And I am at my time. So I am happy to let there be a drawing so somebody gets some fun stuff.
All right, we're gonna do 3 drawings. I've got Sarah over here picking names, literally out of the basket. Okay, we got Melissa. Okay, Kim Klevick. I don't know how to pronounce that, but she said Riohana, wine, and olive oil. Okay, we have a Melissa. What's the last name again? Klevick. Ah, yes, you're getting La Riojana wine and olive oil. Congratulations. We have Lynn Garrington. Lynn Garrington is winning the lunch pack with local jam. A local lunch pack. Snack bag and some peanut butter. Awesome. Landis Spickerman is getting a equal exchange coffee and chocolate. You want an equal exchange coffee and chocolate set. Lisa Abels Allison. Lisa Abels Allison. And get the Wild Planet goodie bag. You want a Wild Planet goodie bag. Awesome. We will have more drawings as we go throughout here, but they can be picked up at the co-op during any open hours. You have them available and your name on them. Thank you. All right, GM report. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. We've been getting a lot of questions about how the co-op's been doing during the pandemic. The 10-cent version kind of goes like this. 2020 was crazy busy, and all of our staff managed to stay healthy. If you look at the financials in your meeting packet, you'll see that our 2020 sales were pretty tremendous. Keep in mind that these are still unaudited numbers, but it's safe to say that we've had our best sales ever over the past year. Since we finally reached healthy cash levels, we were able to pay off a $70,000 expansion loan with AADC and a $100,000 loan with Northern State Bank that we'd taken out post-expansion when we needed additional operating cash. Our success is absolutely thanks to dedicated owners like yourselves. As you might imagine, keeping staff healthy and the shopping experience as safe as possible has been a major goal throughout, and something that we've worked hard at. Besides all the changes implemented on the sales floor that you can see, we have a whole list of COVID-related practices in place for staff kind of behind the scenes. Creating a healthy place to work and shop is something that we feel phenomenal about and feel like we've done very well. Last spring, we launched curbside order system. It was pretty basic, but response was immediate to the point that we had to hire extra staff, which is pretty cool. More recently, as vaccines have become available, use has declined, but it's something we're going to keep offering as long as it makes sense to. The addition of the wine and alcohol license back in August was a real win for the co-op, and a number of years in the making. A response to that has been tremendous. As general purchases increased last year, so did local sales. Some years ago, you might recall that we signed the 2020 compact, pledging to try to get to 20% of our sales from local products by 2020. And we defined local as a 100-mile radius as a crow flies. Last year, we sold over $893,000 in product from local vendors. That was a huge number. It was a sharp 19% increase from 2019. If you add in the cost of labor and local services, the co-op paid back a staggering $1.5 million to the Ashland and surrounding communities. However, yeah, exactly. However, with total sales also increasing, it didn't help the percentage of local much. We finished the year at 16.2% of total local sales. I'm not quite sure what it's going to get us to the 20%, but I feel like the answer lies at least partially in value-added products. One roadblock that we keep hearing about is the cost of renting commercial kitchen space. To help with that, we created Chip in the Kitchen, a matching grant fund to help subsidize kitchen use costs to small entrepreneurs. Applications are accepted anytime. The funds are available till gone, so pass the word on that one. Right now, we're just over a full year into our Round for Partners Chip Up at the Register program. Through this, you all have helped support 10 local organizations over the course of 2020 with nearly $15,000 in donations. So that's awesome. We have another great lineup of local organizations in need of your support this year. And if you have a favorite organization that you feel would be a good fit, please encourage them to apply this fall for the 2022 round. Meanwhile, we are still continuing to give those no interest microloans to local farmers and other small businesses in 2 loan cycles per year. I think we're going to touch on that a little bit later in tonight's program as well. As you might imagine, the past year has been kind of a bust from class and outreach perspective. Look for the co-op to ease back into classes and events as COVID comes a little bit more under control and vaccination continues. There's a smattering of classes coming up, including farm tours, which are backed by popular demand. So those should be really fun. Keep your eyes open for that. If there's any class that you'd really like to attend or more importantly to teach for us, please let us know. For a bit of more breaking news, I'm excited to report that the co-op's just been paid off for the balance owed to us on the farm that we sold on land contract back in 2012. That feels pretty awesome. This allows us to focus on retail marketing of healthy foods in our community and better positions us for whatever comes next for the co-op. So what else is in the works for 2021? Look for more new items and variety in our shelves, since we know many of you are getting more adventurous with your cooking. Additionally, please take some time to admire our new Ojibwe language signs around the store that celebrate our community's culture. We're looking forward to a better than ever local season, which should help our 2020 compact goal, even though 2020 is come and gone. We have a few small upgrades and repairs and resets planned for the store. We've also begun looking into adding solar panels for the rooftop. And of course, we're going to continue to strive to serve the best food we can with sincere customer service. The support of the membership has been really, really wonderful this year. I know Laura touched on that, but we welcomed a record 259 new owner households to the co-op in 2020. You all have been kind and patient and understand with all the changes we've made and trusting that we're doing the best we can to keep everybody safe. And that's felt really good. We realize that it's been a challenging year for everyone. So we thank you all for your continued support. The co-op would absolutely not exist without you. I'd also like to take a moment to acknowledge our wonderful staff who stuck it out through a somewhat wild and scary ride. I feel absolutely honored to work with such a great group of people. And also want to extend my support, or my thanks to the board, who's been very, very supportive to me throughout this last year. On behalf of the entire co-op team, we would like to wish you the best for the year to come. I think I've got a few minutes for questions. If, yeah, 5-6 minutes for questions if anybody's got any. You can either unmute or throw them in the chat.
Does anyone have any questions? Okay. I don't
Kirsten?
see oh,
Kirsten, this is Mark. Can you talk a little bit about the modified CHIP program to support organizations?
Sure. I mean, we're continuing to ask people to chip up or round up at the registers, but we've got a different organization every month. And for the rest of this year, and then we'll be collecting applications for next year. I believe we've been averaging a little over $1,000 per organization per month. So that's been really, really awesome for these organizations, especially as they're finding, a lot of them are finding some of their other funding avenues cut this past year. So seems like it's been pretty successful. Anyone else?
there is,
Oh,
Yeah,
pushed in the chat.
the total membership.
Total membership, that's a number in flux. I believe it's around 3,000. So a recent success, we're doing a membership drive right now, and I think we've got 50 memberships added just this week alone between renewals and new memberships. So that's way past our goal. So awesome. Anything else anybody's dying to ask their GM? Not that I'm not available all the time, but
Kirsten, how's the Chequamegon co-op doing in comparison with our neighbors?
as in our neighbor co-ops,
Yeah.
the general picture seems to be that some co-ops have done pretty well this year, and some co-ops have really been hurting this past year. Pretty much, like post pandemic. I think we're doing a little bit better than average in the co-op world. It certainly doesn't hurt that we saw a lot more tourism than anybody really predicted for last year as well. That was big, and we're kind of thinking it's going to be a heavy tourist year again this year as well. I think the co-ops that are really hurting are college town co-ops where college numbers have dwindled. Also, stores that had a large percentage of their sales coming from their delis, because the way people eat out has really changed, obviously. I think there's something else in the chat. We like the weekly coupons for free items for March. We did too. That was a new program for us and other co-ops, and I think it was very successful. So nothing in the works anytime soon, but we're hoping to be able to do something like that again as well.
Anyone have anything else?
Maybe we need some more drawings. All right, Sarah over here is ready.
All right, we have David Conley.
David Conley is winning. Dun, 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 dun.
A wellness bag of goodies.
A wellness bag of goodies. Okay.
And we have Jim Matzinger.
Jen?
Jim Matzinger.
Jim Matzinger. Okay.
is winning the Satori cheeses. and
You're-
swag.
You're winning Satori cheeses and a related Satori swag.
And
Cool.
then we have Anne Chartier
And Chartier,
is also getting another wellness bag of goodies.
another wellness bag of goodies. Very cool.
And we have Sandra Nutt,
Sandra Nutt,
who is winning the Terra Natural bag of goodies, which has some like scrunchies and hair products in it.
you are winning a bag of GM goodies from Terra Naturals.
And we have Kelly Ross.
Say that again.
Kelly Ross,
Kelly Ross is winning
socks and scarves.
sock and scarf pack.
Yep.
Very cool. All right, thank you, everyone. Again, those can be picked up anytime we're open.
There is one more question. Any data on CHIP participation from co-ops, which use a percentage rather than rounding up?
Percentage rather than rounding up. No, I mean, I think CHIP programs from a lot of other co-ops, I mean, not all co-ops have them, but the ones that do, a lot of them are fairly similar, but not necessarily exactly the same thing. And no, that's not really anything that we regularly share with each other, so couldn't tell you. But good question.
Okay. If there's no more questions, I can kick it over to Mick and he can take over for the local agriculture and the candidates piece.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome and thanks for being here tonight. You know, a lot of what I'm going to say, I guess, is been said by Laura and Kirsten already. So I'll try to be brief and give our speakers a little more time. You know, it's really around what we strive for as a co-op. You know, healthy, organic, locally produced goods wherever possible. We have a sound economy in our local area. And we help our members be knowledgeable about choices that they have. So we thought it'd be interesting for members to hear a little bit from some of the people that are participating. We have, you know, first we have Todd Roth from Northland related to the assisting people to maybe produce some additional things with locally grown goods. We have, you know, one of our staff members at the co-op, and Sarah Jackson, and a little bit about what she's doing in the produce area. And finally, we have an actual grower in the area from Stephen Spickerman down at Hermit Creek Farm. And each of those will give us a little info and intro into what they're doing. So with that, I guess we could hand it off. First, we're going to go to Todd, and Todd can give us a little bit of info on what he does at Northland and how the commercial kitchen there is becoming available and how we're working with the co-op to make that happen. So I will hand it off to our first speaker, and we can go from there.
Okay, can everybody hear me? Are we good?
Sounds
So
good.
I am good. Okay, so I'm Todd Rothy, work at Northland College in the relatively new Healing's Rice Food Center. We're all of 4 years old there. You might also recognize me from River Road Farm. We sell a lot of salad mix at the Chequamegon Food Co-op. So what is the Healing's Rice Food Center? It was originally built in response to increasing local food at Northland College in the cafeteria. And so we built a shared use commercial kitchen called the Larson Food Lab. But it's also comprised of a compost center. So we're able to compost the waste from the Larson Food Lab, as well as all the waste campus-wide and in the community. And we also oversee the garden program on campus. So the compost center has allowed Northland College to achieve 100% organic waste diversion. And then I had mentioned that we offer collection services. We do collect tens of thousands of pounds from the Chequamegon Food Co-op as well, the Black Cat, Memorial Medical Center, and others around the city of Ashland. Our garden program, we're really striving to give our students an experience that's from seed starting all the way to the point of sale. So this is a group of students at the Ashland Farmers Market. It's also inspired the academic side to create a sustainable agriculture minor. We're also in the process of developing a sustainable agriculture and sustainable food systems major as well to be offered in the future at Northern College. So the Larson Food Lab, and again, like I said, it's first and foremost food processing facility. It's licensed with the state of Wisconsin as a processing plant, but then also a shared use kitchen for entrepreneurs. So we have 3 tenants right now that rent the Larson Food Lab, and our focus is on how we can encourage business development. So I think, the lack of value-added food products in our community has been a bottleneck for a couple decades now. And so we're really excited to work with people who have food product ideas. And then of course, because it's at the college, it is a culinary classroom. So as far as food processing goes, we've each year processed upwards of 15,000 pounds of food, and then it's stored and served in the cafeteria. And so being that it's a licensed facility, what that does for an entrepreneur is kind of streamline the whole licensing process. So if you're going to sell a value-added food product directly into the place, you have
Did we lose somebody here? I think all right, I lost something.
Yeah, I can't hear him either.
Looks like he's back again.
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Okay, I'm going to stop my video. I think that'll help. And then. Oh, darn. There we go. Are we good?
Yes.
We can
Looks
hear you.
good.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so what I was saying was, being that it's a licensed facility, it helps entrepreneurs, helps streamline that process, the licensing process with the state of Wisconsin. So you do have access to all the equipment there, and you do have access to long-term storage. So business development, Jason Fishbach, Rockstar Egg Agent for Ashland and Bayfield counties, working on hazelnut product development, and coffee roasting and sourdough bakery goods. And so we do offer recipe development services as well. So you can actually hire our staff to kind of refine your recipes and then have those recipes tested with a sensory panel. And then the culinary classroom. So if there's, community organizations that are looking to do youth programming, do entrepreneur training. We did a bunch of work with the BRIC on the COVID response as well. So it's been a very useful space. So back to pricing, we do understand that pricing is a barrier for our users. So we try to have a graduated scale for our pricing. So there is a premium price at $25 an hour. But then if you're working on product development or just a brand new idea, we drop it to $15 an hour. And then if you're a high use user and want to make a
Looks like we lost Todd again.
He's back again at the bottom. He's coming back. I think it's his slideshow that's slowing him down. Yay, technical bugs. Little gnomes in our electronics, of course.
I can share that screen if that's helpful for Todd.
It might be.
How do I get it to advance?
Did Todd come back muted though?
I am back once again. Sorry, everyone. I actually only had one more slide left if Kirsten's going through it, which was to thank the Chequamegon Food Co-op for the new chip. Yep, chip in for the kitchen. I think this is really going to encourage entrepreneurs to use the facility. So bravo for that. And thank you so much for partnering with Northland College. And that's all.
Thank you, Todd. I'm sorry for butchering your name coming in. It's Rothy, and I thought Roth. Sorry. Anyway, I would toss in on top of what Todd said that the co-op also has a mini loan program. So if we possibly have people that are interested in trying to develop product, they could also use loans to use the Northland facility if possible. There's a lot of options. So we applaud that as the co-op that what Northland is trying to do and what we're trying to do really works together well. So thank you, Todd. Next on our list, we have Sarah Jackson. Sarah's been with the co-op as an employee now for about a dozen years. And the produce manager for the last 10 years. So she is very well versed in what comes in our doors, what comes in locally, what she has to augment with stuff from elsewhere, unless anyone knows of a lemon farm locally. So she does a bunch of that, local person, been here a long time, comes out of a different region, but moved into our area. And she's going to be speaking a little bit about the Produce Promises package that the co-op has and what that means and how we try to reach out to our local growers and producers and ranchers. So with that, I will hand it off to Sarah.
Thanks, Mick. And thanks, Todd. So I'm going to talk about two programs that we use at the co-op to get more local produce on our shelves. The first one is Produce Promises, and it's a wish list of things that we have that we can confidently say can be grown here and that will sell at the co-op. We started the program in 2013, and we sent our first packet out to 9 local producers. That first year, we sold $50,000 in local produce. In the year 2020, we sold $150,000 worth of local produce. So it's, you can see the growth there. In 2021, we sent the packet out to 65 different producers in our area. So the packet, it contains, it's broken down into 3 components. There's a spreadsheet that covers weeks, amounts, and prices. And it is like I said, a wish list of things that we want. It's broken up into weeks because it's easier for planning purposes and storage constraints. We've been asked in the past why we can't take an entire crop from a farmer, and it's just because we don't have the space to store it. The next is amounts, and this is the amount of any one crop that we are asking producers to deliver over a given week. And these numbers are based on the prior year's sales. And the third component is the price. And this is what the co-op is willing to pay for what the producers are bringing in. Prices are based on farmer feedback. We also compare to the Duluth Co-op similar program and current market prices. Nationally, produce prices fluctuate weekly, even daily sometimes. And a great thing about local produce is that the price doesn't change over the course of a season. The way the program works is we send our packet out early in the year. Producers look over the list of things that we're asking for, and then they'll send it back to us indicating what they would like to grow. Then we in the produce department look over what we've received and then somehow either via meetings or email or sending back the actual packet, communicate what we are agreeing to purchase from what they want to buy or what they want to grow, sorry. They're not binding contracts. They're an agreement that if you agree to grow it, we're going to agree to sell it in the amounts and the prices that we've agreed on. We're just looking for our best planned successes when it comes to selling local produce. Also included in the packet is a welcome letter and our requirements to sell produce at the co-op. The other program that Kirsten introduced was the microloan program, and there are small zero interest loans. And we run them 2 cycles a year, spring and fall. We typically give out between $12,000 and $15,000 per cycle. We expanded this program 2 years ago to include non-food related producers. It's been a really successful program. We've almost had 100% payback on all of these loans. So keep that revolving fund going. And I can't think of anything else. Questions?
Thanks, Sarah. I'm going to jump in. We are running a wee bit long on time, so I appreciate it. I think it's a great program. I like the connections, and we very much appreciate you being there and running that show. As always, we welcome comments and suggestions from our community, be that growers or members or anyone else that would have ways for us to do things better to reach out. So, you can speak with Kirsten, you can, possibly email Sarah, you can email the board. If you have ideas of ways we can do more in that regard, please let us know what they are and we'll consider them. So I appreciate that. Thanks, Sarah. Last on our list is an actual grower in our community. We have Stephen Spickerman, who represents Hermit Creek Farm. Hermit Creek's been around for something more than 25 years. And speaking with them, they told me they're one of the very first produce producers for the co-op. They're also a CSA or community supported agriculture provider, where they provide boxes of wonderful vegetables to the local community. Some of them are members. So with that, Stephen, I will pass it off to you and let you tell us a little bit about what you do at Hermit Creek and how you connect with the co-op.
Great. Can everybody hear me? Don't see any nodding heads.
Sounds good.
So, okay, great. I'm going to turn my video off and share my screen. I've got really low bandwidth right now, so hopefully I'll be able to get through this. Let me see. And let me share my screen. Hey, Kirsten, I can't share my screen right now. I've got a host disabled participant screen sharing up.
Yeah, sorry there, bear with me. I'm gonna
Sure.
put you on here as soon as I can figure it out. Okay, you should be good to go.
Okay, there. I'm a farmer. I am not a public speaker, so take me just a little bit to get going here. So can everybody see that?
No.
Okay. Well, I can see it. Any ideas for the more technically advanced out there?
Try unmuting your video.
And I get another screen sharing has failed to start. Window you selected is invalid. So let's see. I might have to do this without my show.
Do you have it on a PowerPoint or
I do. I have it on a PowerPoint.
is the PowerPoint open on your desktop?
Yep.
Did you choose PowerPoint when you did the screen share?
It wasn't an option. I don't know. I can see on my end, I can see there's a little red X through your video, which is why we're not seeing your face as well.
Okay. Maybe I'll.
There we
I'll
go.
start that. So now I'll share my screen. Let's see.
We might have to forego the slides, Stephen. Let's you can walk yourself through them and explain what you're showing or would like to be.
Okay. So I'm going to take it. You can't see my screen right now.
No, we see you.
Okay. Well, then I'll just go through my screen and my slides and bear with me. And we'll have to do a farm tour this summer and you'll be able to see the farm in person. So I'm going to start out with a quote by Wendell Berry. And Wendell Berry wrote in The Pleasures of Eating, a significant part of the pleasure of eating is in one's accurate consciousness of the lives and the world from which food comes. And I think that quote embodies what the co-op is about. And it also embodies what our farm has been about. And as Mick said, we've been around for a while. We're approaching our 30th year as a farm, growing here in the Chequamegon Bay area. And if you look at that proverbial first dollar pinned to the wall of many businesses, our first dollar came from you all. It came from the Chequamegon Food Co-op. It was a sale of lettuce made a long time ago. And when we sold that lettuce to the co-op did not have a produce cooler. It didn't have a produce department. It had a white wooden bin that usually you'd find potatoes and onions in, and that was about it. And so pretty quickly the co-op added a small cooler and then a large cooler, and the co-op's produce department has grown and we've grown with it. So we're located about 20 miles south of Ashland. We farm on 140 acres. Which is certified organic. It's not just me, it's myself and actually the heart and soul of the farm, my wife Landis, and then also some great folks who work with us. I think most folks who shop at the co-op probably know us best through our crispy carrots. Although we do a lot more than carrots, we're highly diverse, growing a wide range of products. Not just produce, we also raise pastured hogs and grass-fed lamb. Besides produce, we're also known as a really great place to work. We typically hire 5 or 6 people a year, and a lot of folks out of Northland College have worked here. Kind of moving along. So Nick had asked me to talk about CSA and what CSA is. CSA is it's another way to, besides shopping at the co-op, is another way to bring local food into your daily life. So sort of the nuts and bolts of CSA, or community supported agriculture, is the emphasis on local food production. I think in today's world, you hear about a lot about food boxes like Hello Fresh. There's a whole slew of them out there. And they try to mimic CSA because CSAs have been very successful. But in a CSA, it's really about local. Typically, a CSA share is sold prior to the growing season. It's sort of like the old adage of seed money. Most of our CSA customers start signing up in December, then through the hard part of the winter, which is a really slow time for a produce farm, especially a produce farm this far north. So it's an income stream while we're busy buying seed and getting ready for the season. We have income coming in. And then CSA members receive produce and other share options when that product is available. So there's some very tangible benefits for farmers with a CSA. It's a dependable income source. We do our marketing early in the year. We're not marketing while we're growing. We're marketing before we actually are busy growing. And for a farmer, farms can be very isolating places. So for us, it's a sense of community. We like to call our CSA members our family. So it's our community. And then there's benefits for the eater, of course, too, such as access to the freshest produce, learning about new foods, knowing who grows your food, and lastly, a sense of community. And it's those two things, I think, sense of community, that bring CSA together. And I'm going to come back to that with CSA and the food co-op. So one of the long-term tenets of CSA is what's called shared risk, shared reward. So shared risk is part of what creates the sense of community. It's a feeling of we're all in this together. So a good example of that is if a hailstorm takes out the peppers, there might not be peppers in the box, but everyone's disappointed together. And together as CSA members and farmers, we sort of cheer on the winter squash and the broccoli. The second part of that is shared reward. So in return for supporting the farm, CSA members receive a share of the harvest. And it's delivered at the peak of flavor. And oftentimes, I think most CSA farms tend to give more food than what's actually been purchased. We fill the box up. I think the most important rewards are helping to protect local green space, truly understanding where your food comes from and how it's grown. That gets back to that Wendell Berry quote. And building a sense of community. There's that word community again. And I think regardless of risk or reward, CSA members and farmers become entwined in a really unique relationship that if it's successful can last a lifetime of good food, health, and friendship. For our farm, we're in our 28th year of being a CSA farm, and we have members that joined us that very first summer, and they're still members. They're in their 28th year of receiving seasonal produce from us. So that brings me to CSA in general. And our area is very lucky. We have about 6 or 7 CSAs to choose from for a fairly small area. And sort of the relationship between CSAs and the food co-op. I think some people have perhaps looked at CSAs as being in competition with the co-op, but I think actually we work hand in hand together. Many of the CSAs in our area also supply the co-op with local food. Our customers are your customers. We're all in this sort of together. And I think, as I said, CSA is really about a sense of community. And in our time of living here in the Chequamegon Bay, for us, the food co-op has also been a great part of sense of community. And I think it's those two things, sort of the intersection of those two things, CSA and the Chequamegon Food Co-op, and that sense of community that that come together. And so that's pretty much what I had. And I will open it up for questions. And I really hope that this coming summer we can have folks from the co-op come on down. So any questions out there? So not hearing any questions, I will sign off and enjoy the rest of the meeting. Thanks, Mick.
Mick, you're mute. Yeah, there is one question in the comments.
Oh, what do we grow? Well, we grow Landis just said A to Z. If you can think of a produce item that would grow at this latitude, we grow it. We have 9 unheated high tunnels, like the one you can see behind me, as well as a heated greenhouse. So we already have food in the ground growing. So pretty much think any produce item you can think of that would grow this far north. And we grow it, and we grow it commercially. One other thing I would probably point out is CSA makes up about 60% of our farm's income. A big chunk of the other 40% comes from the co-op. We also sell to other retail outlets as well too.
Wonderful stuff.
Thanks, Ann.
Yep. Wonderful stuff, Stephen. And you know that your produce is very much top notch. I very much appreciate what you guys do and can't wait for the first box to be coming in probably a month or two, I guess. But so thank you. And thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Todd. Very much appreciate the look we've had at kind of the various phases that things take here. There's options available to people, whether that's at the co-op store itself, whether that's looking for local produce through CSAs or maybe farm stores or farmers markets. The co-op's all about the community getting the quality of food. And yes, we want to be a big part of that. We also want to support people like Todd, like Sarah working with us, like Stephen actually growing things. And that's really what we wanted to present today. So I'm going to hand it off back to Kirsten and thank you all for participating.
Sorry, folks, missed my cue. Let's go into candidate speaking, and we'll save our last 6 drawings for the very, very end. I guess if I'm just going down the list, first up is Gary Sherman. Gary, do you have a few minutes for us?
There, that better? Can you hear me okay? All right. I tried buying a set of headphones because people complained about the mic on my computer at board meetings, but they don't seem to be connecting to Zoom. They work on everything else. But in any event, I'm Gary Sherman. I live in Port Wing. I'm a retired judge. Some of you may remember that I used to represent this area in the Wisconsin legislature. I have been a member of the Chequamegon Food Co-op since it was first founded many years ago. I couldn't even begin to guess. I have been a member of a number of food co-ops since I joined the Whole Earth Learning Community on Johnson Street in Madison in 1965. I've also served on a lot of boards, both co-op boards and other boards, including the board of the Commonwealth Warehouse Cooperative Association, which was a second level co-op, a wholesale food distributor that we trucked food from Sault Ste. Marie to Glendive, Montana, serving food co-ops and buying clubs. At that time, there were a lot of buying clubs, I think a lot more than there are now. We had this huge network, and the cost of trucking, I think, is what finally made it unsustainable. I also, we had a little local buying club in Cornucopia called the South Shore Food Buying Service, where I was on the board and the treasurer. I've been on the board of the State Bar Wisconsin for a number of years. I was a firefighter for 23 years and served in every position on a fire department that you can possibly serve on. I'm also a lawyer, and in my law practice, I represented a number of co-ops, handled even a couple of interesting co-op mergers, including the one that brought the Poplar Co-op into the Ashland Co-op Services Group. So I've been around co-ops for a long time. I'm also familiar with management accounting information, having early on taken a course in accounting for non-accounting executives. I've served on this board for about a year, I was appointed to complete an unexpired term, which has now expired. So I'm hoping that I made a valuable contribution in the last year and that you will vote to allow me to continue to do so. That's it.
Thank you, Gary.
Reasonably brief for a politician.
All right, it looks like Colleen Biggin, sorry if I'm butchering your last name, is up next. Colleen, you got a few words?
That's okay. It's Baggin. I like to say it's Baggin like Reagan, not that I was a fan. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay. I'm doing this on my, okay, good. So I recently moved to Bayfield, actually in September, but it has been my second home for about 20 years. My father lived up here. He moved to the Bayfield area in 1999. And so it's been my second home for a long time. I am an educator. I taught St. Paul Public Schools for about 5 years, and then I joined the online world of education. And I currently serve as a training specialist, and I train teachers how to teach online. I was a Zoomer before Zoom was cool, is what I like to say. And I have a bunch of notes here. So along with being a virtual training specialist, I also, for my company, I started an employee resource group that is for people with visible and invisible disabilities. We have a very strong diversity and inclusion program at my company. I'm trying to work on getting diversity and inclusion going and hiring people of color and also hiring people who have visible and invisible disabilities. I have one of those. I have MS. So that is why I started the group. I also serve on the Stride Serves committee at my company, which works on trying to get people to volunteer in their community. And we worked with our company to get 16 hours a year for people to get paid to volunteer. Let's see, what else? I have a lot of board experience. I served on the board of the Union Park District Council in St. Paul for a couple of years. I was also in the executive committee for that. I've worked with the MS Society. I was one of the members of the group that goes and talks to people at the Capitol and tries to get laws that support those of us who live with MS. Let me see. I was the instigator of the Get Out the Vote for my company this year. We felt it was really important to keep people out voting. So we worked really hard to, nonpartisan wise, get people out voting. And because I work for a very large corporation, and we felt it was important to get that going. Let me think. I also started the Master Teacher Program at my company. So I am very well versed in mentoring and how to set up a mentorship program and helping people with that. Let's see. For the co-op, my dad, so he lived up here and he was one of those people we always talked about the co-op. Now, I'm not going to lie, my father did not join the co-op because that was my dad. He was very involved here in Bayfield. He helped the whole rec center. He was the founder of the Groundling that runs the theater in Washburn, the Stage North. And he was also involved in creating CORE here in Bayfield. So he was instrumental in that, and he really instilled in me the importance of volunteering. And when I moved up here, I wanted to choose something to give my time to that was not something my father had done. And I love the co-op. I moved 3 days after I moved here. I drove to Ashland and I joined the co-op because I thought I need to be part of the co-op. I need to be getting involved in this. Local is so important to me. I just think we need to support local, especially up here. We need to really continue to support local. I would love to work on that. I would love to work on zero waste programs. I'd love to help you with education and creating those education programs and helping those who want to teach how to teach effectively, because especially in this world of online, it can be really hard. I was taking little notes. I'm not going to lie, what you could do to better the median. I'm not going to lie about that, because I do know, like I said, I've been Zooming for a good 2 years. So I have a vast retail experience as well. So I'd like to bring that. And one of the things I have to say, every time I walk into that co-op and I check out, and I'm walking around, people are saying hi to me. The staff is fabulous. They're friendly, they're helpful. And that speaks very highly of those of you who are on the board and those of you who are running that co-op. That you are hiring staff that cares. And that's one of the reasons I love going there. The checkout people know me at this point because I'm a chatty Cathy and I talk to everybody when I'm there. And I'm not gonna lie, math is not my thing. Gary talked about math, and I'm not gonna be your math girl. I'm not gonna lie. And I just wanna help continue what you're already doing. You're doing such amazing things. You're such a successful co-op, and I just wanna be a part of that. So that's Chequamegon.
Thank you, Colleen. I believe Kelly Ross is next up. Kelly, are you here?
Yes, I am. Hello, everyone. Can you guys hear me okay? Awesome. Yeah, so I'm Kelly, and this is my husband, Chris, and we live in Ashland. We first visited Ashland about 3 years ago. We grew up in Florida. We moved to Minneapolis, Duluth, and we feel very lucky to feel settled finally here. And we fell in love with the area when we visited, and the co-op really played a big part in that. We have come back several times since that, like during that time, and it was watching the mural go up, and the sense of community in the space was just really overwhelming and wonderful. So we did end up moving here last May, which was a pretty tough time to join a community. But now that we are starting to see the other side of the pandemic, we are so excited to start meeting our neighbors, to become more involved. And I really feel like this opportunity could be a big part of that for me in particular. So I currently work remotely teaching for a personal finance software company. My background is in education. I got my bachelor's and master's in elementary education, then transitioned into some natural sciences, and now I work for this amazing company remotely. And I'm really proud to consider myself a forever learner. I've always been a question asker. I love details. And I want you guys to know that I'm taking this opportunity very seriously. My background is a little different, but I've been doing a ton of reading and research about what makes a co-op successful. The grocery story book, I just kind of flew through that. We were featured in that, so that was really cool to see that the Chequamegon Co-op was part of that already. And if I'm elected to join the board of directors, I promise to continue asking questions, to learn from the expertise of our amazing existing board in our community that's part of the cooperative, and to represent us in the very best way that I can. So I thank you guys for your consideration.
Thank you, Kelly. Cynthia Dazel. I'm sorry, I probably butchered your name as well, Cynthia. Take it away.
It's Cynthia Dalzell. Can you hear me? Okay, you can hear me. Okay, good. Yes, I'm Cynthia Dalzell. I'm a landscape architect. I've lived on Madeline Island for about 20 to 25 years. And when we moved up here, we bought an old farm. It's one of the original dairy farms on Madeline Island. I brought with me my sheep and my chickens and my other farm animals, horses and goats and alpacas and all of that up here, and started a small farm from an old farm. And we've always raised everything organically. We're not certified organic, but we've always been natural. My landscape architecture business is all about natural landscaping and natural plant communities, a lot of permaculture ideas. And I hire a lot of Northland College students. So, and I see some of them working at the co-op. So it just all seems to come together, seeing some of the kids that work for me for several years working at the co-op, or vice versa. I love Northland College. I love all the connections that they make. And I think that that's where I feel when I'm working as a landscape architect, my job is to put the right client with the right design, with the right materials, with the right crew. And I feel like the co-op sort of does that too. And I think I'd like to be a part of helping with that, is making those connections. It's all about putting the right growers with the right farmers and with the right families. And if you can get one new family to start growing, or not even growing, just eating natural foods instead of processed foods, I think the co-op, that's a huge success story. And I'd like to be a part of that. I've been on a few boards in my life. I've been on a small town board outside of Madison called Pine Bluff, very small town. very, very small. But it was very enlightening to be on a town board. And I was a member of the Woods Hall board on Madeline Island for about 10 years. Woods Hall is this amazing craft cooperative where people weave in the winter and make pottery, and then in the summertime they sell their wares to the tourist community. And so that was a great education, a great way to get to know Madeline Island and its community and its members. I've also was a chamber board member, and that was a great education, and I think helped me to become a better board member no matter what group you join, because it's very diverse and it's all about business and making business successful. And in a tourist community, we balance our year-round residents and their livelihoods and their health and welfare with our tourist community, which is essential to the Ashland area, Washburn, Bayfield. We're all part of that Northwoods community of tourism and visitors, and keeping us all healthy and on the right track has just been great. I also really have admired the way the co-op handled the pandemic. I think when I walked in to shop, and I only get across every 2 to 3 weeks because it's just life on the island, but when I get there, you were the first grocery store that I remember seeing with all the things in place to keep everybody safe and healthy. And I was just really, really impressed. I was like, okay, I want to be a bigger part of this, because I've been a member of the co-op for probably 20 years. I haven't kept track, but I've always loved the co-op, but that just even built on, it's just getting better and better all the time, you guys. So I really enjoy being a part of all of that. As a farmer, I've been able to start raising vegetables and things because of the soil fertility that I've built with animal husbandry on the island. And so there's another connection. You can't just drop everything and start growing this stuff. I admire the CSA growers because soil fertility just doesn't happen on its own. We have to help build that and nurture it. And that connection with the soil, and then with the plants and the vegetables. And I am a small vegetable grower, and I do small CSAs with my clients. Most of my landscape architecture clients have become friends, and they buy my CSAs, and they just want more and more. They also go to the co-op. They've embraced curbside pickup. More and more people stayed on Madeline Island this winter than ever before, and they relied on the co-op for good natural foods. The personal shopping thing where you shop for people and then they could pick up their groceries, that worked really, really well for many of my clients. And I think it was really, really a great addition. So the one last thing that I've helped start that might connect me to the co-op is we've started the Madeline Island Harvesters. There are 8 local growers. Our only rules are that it has to be grown on Madeline Island and it has to be organic. And we took a wagon to town every week and had a small, kind of like a farmer's market sort of a thing. But it wasn't a farmer's market in the sense that they come from all over. Everybody here had to be from Madeline. And the big comment was, are you kidding? This is all grown on the island? People could not believe it. So it's happening here, and it's just getting better and better all the time. And I think the food wagon just speaks for itself as being, and most of you probably haven't heard of it because you haven't come to Madeline, you haven't seen it, and it's brand new. But the response was incredible. We sold out every week in an hour. People just want more and more and more of this sort of thing. So I'd love to make those connections. If I'm elected on the board, I would love to help keep building that community and those connections. That's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Bob Putnam, are you here?
I'm going to jump in for Bob, Kirsten. But Bob's a friend. He is at a wedding in Maryland and unable to join us tonight. So he sends his best wishes.
All right. Thank you, everyone. As far as voting, if you haven't voted yet, voting is staying open until April 30th. And I guess results are going to be announced Monday, May 3rd. You can vote in store. There was ballots in your grapevine as well. We also have ballots here in store. There's also, you can vote online, and Sarah just put the link into the chat panel. Otherwise, that's on our website. You can find it there as well. So just trying to make it easy for you. I think we've got some drawings left, and then we are about done.
Yeah, we have 6 more drawings.
All right, 6 drawings, I'm told.
All right, so let's do Stacy Craig.
Stacy Craig.
The co-op hat and sticker.
All right, you just want a co-op hat and sticker.
And then Peter Steinpop.
Peter Steinpop, you just won.
More of the wine and olive oil.
La Riojana wine and olive oil. He's excited.
Woohoo, Patty Wood.
Say that again?
Patty Wood.
Patty Wood.
We're gonna get coffee and chocolate.
Equal exchange coffee and chocolate.
Then we have Colleen Bagan is getting a wellness goodie bag.
Colleen, did you hear that? You're getting a wellness goodie bag.
And last but not least, we have Christelle Sketch winning hemp seed oil and a hat.
And Christelle Sketch, you're winning a hemp seed oil and a hat. Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Do you have any more, Kristen?
I'm good. Take it away, Laura.
Thank you guys for all joining, and thank you for being patient through all of the gnomes we had inside of our electronics. As usual, it's a wonderful Zoom, and thank you for the speakers for the great information that they gave us. Thank you for participating in our co-op and making our community better. And we appreciate all that you've done. Make sure that you get us your ideas and suggestions in our wonderful little box, or throw us an email. I can't wait to see you guys all again in person if we can ever get this going so we can have regular things anymore. You guys have a great night, and we will see you at the co-op.
Thank you, everyone. I was just going to add that there will be a recording of this meeting up on the website at some point in time. Thank you. Have a good night.
Nice job, Kirsten. Very well done. Laura, great work.
Good meeting.
Mike's still on. Yeah, everybody did good. Had, I think 34 people at the peak. That's what I counted at least.
I like it. I like all the people that were on. Thank
Yeah,
you, Mark, for all you've
presentations were
done.
great. Presentations were good.
I'm gonna miss all your questions and insights.
Lots of questions. Yeah,
I'm just gonna keep emailing you, just so you know.
sounds good. You guys have a great night. We'll see you later.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye, guys.
Slurpee says have a good night.
Bye, Kitty.
Goodbye.
How do I end?
There should be a button that says leave.
And
It's red.
end meeting for